And thank you everyone for joining part of Marcus Sims Media, where we're going to bring you some of the top artists, genre crossing artists, whether it's R&B, jazz, reggae, soca, you name it. We're happy to bring it to you exclusively on this YouTube channel. Of course, we will be streaming on all social media platforms with this special interview. Joining me right now is a guy who, whether it's the smooth reggae sounds fused with a little R&B, a little dance hall, we're happy to have with us right now my man, international recording artist, DeVille. DeVille, how you doing, brother?
Yes, Mr. Sims, it's a pleasure being in the program, man. God is good, God is great. We're here, we're giving thanks for life. Yeah, man.
And for those who don't know right now, we want you to check out not one, but two of DeVille's latest singles he has out right now. I just told him earlier, so we played the song Happy a little while ago. And of course, Every Time It Rains, not only these great songs, but they're great videos also. You can't forget that these are just some great videos. So brother, once again, thank you for joining us here on this special interview.
Yeah, man, it's my pleasure, man.
So for those who aren't familiar with, as I like to say, the origin story of DeVille, tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, of course, I'm born in Kingston, Jamaica. You know what I mean? Kingston 11 area, which we call the Garrison, and then we moved uptown shortly after that. You know what I mean? I grew up uptown predominantly. You know what I mean? I'm a Jamaican by birth. You know, I was raised in a house of music. Yeah, and throughout my childhood years, you know, I would indulge myself with all different genres, basically all the genres you just mentioned just now, among others, you know, like rock and all these other genres and stuff. So based on that, I've been influenced by that over the years. And as I grow and go through my school years, I take part in choirs and barbecues and, you know, just trying to expand my knowledge base in terms of music. And I have to also give thanks to my father to basically kind of inspired me, because he's an artist himself and a producer himself. You know what I mean? Became after at the end of my high school years, I became a lead singer for and a founder member of the group ARP. And then after I did that stint with that band, I went solo in 2000, and then I started producing myself. You know, and the very first record I produced became my first hit record, the remake of the In Heaven, my rendition of that of Bryan Adams' In Heaven. And that song basically kind of opened the doors for me. And then when I produced Always on My Mind, that kind of put the icing on the cake. And I've been doing it since, you know, globally, you feel me?
Yes, my brother, yes. Now, let me ask you, of course, we know about 3+ years ago, the world, entertainment world, business world, everything changed due to the pandemic, COVID-19. How did that affect you? How did COVID-19 affect you, your career? Because we know as an artist, you have to tour, you have to go out and about the country to different areas. How did COVID-19 affect DeVille and his career for a few years?
Well, honestly, you know, COVID hit, you know, and it even hit home base for me, because I had it, you know, my wife had it, my kids had it. You know what I'm saying? But by the mercy and the grace of God, we pulled through that. You know, and COVID kind of put a damper on a lot of things, especially on the music industry. You know, but I was fortunate enough to still, you know, where I was able to gig still, not as much as I normally would. But what that did though, it gave me time to spend more time with the family, you know, and bond with my children and bond with my wife, and also gave me more time in the studios to be creative, you know. So on that note, you know, even though COVID was a bad thing that happened globally, you know, I try to take it and, you know, and take the positive from it. You know, the positive is the family time and the bonding and the music that I was allowed to create based on what happened with that, you know?
Right. Now, you mentioned your family a few times already in the interview. What role has family played for you? Does family play for you in your career? Of course, we know your father a musician, and of course, we know you've got 2 sons, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
What role does family play in your career?
Oh, it plays a big role, man. A big part of that, honestly. A big part of my career is based on my family support. You know, my kids, they're very proud of daddy. They love daddy, and emulate me, and you know, they'd come in the studio and just go off on a daddy track. You feel me? And that's very encouraging to me because I love music, and just to see that my kids love music too, it's really something special. And then my wife is very supportive. You know, she encourages me and try to give me words of advice. You know, just she's like the rock that I lean on. You know, and I'm just happy that I have that kind of family foundation at home. You know.
True. Now, talk to us a little bit about we're going to talk about your two latest singles that you have out. But let's talk about first and foremost the single "Happy." Tell us a little bit about "Happy" for those that are watching right now. We want them to check out the single, stream it, download it. Talk to us about the single "Happy."
Well, "Happy" is just one of those tracks that was introduced to me by Sketch Carey. Is a artist from the Bahamas, and a producer himself and a songwriter himself. You know what I mean? When Sketch Carey brought that song to my attention, I fell in love with it instantly because of the words and the message it was conveying. It hit close to home in my heart, and I just basically took it onto myself and went inside the studio basically and poured my heart out and my emotions into it, and I guess it's one of those tracks where anyone can relate to, whether you have loved one, whether your relationship with it is on a spiritual level or on a personal level. You feel me? With your wife, husband, children, so that is what it's about, as long as you are happy, you make me happy by, me doing things for you to make you happy. You dig? Just like when God does things for you too. He's happy when he makes you happy. You feel me? You can put it on a spiritual level as well. Yeah.
Yes. And it's definitely a hot song. It's one of those songs, as I mentioned a few moments ago, definitely add to your rotation. Check out some great summertime music from my man DeVille. Now let's hop to your also your latest single, "Every Time It Rains." Once again, a great video, my brother, for this song, a great track. Let's talk about "Every Time It Rains."
Well, if it sounds like it's raining right now, that's because it is. You feel me? Just give me, it's gonna go in a minute. This is the experience, man, the devil experience, Anyway, but "Every Time It Rains," it's a song that was originally done by Ace of Base. That's a Swedish band.
Oh wow.
And
okay.
yeah, man. So I never had the intention to sing over any song of the moment, like do any reinterpretation of anything. I was just focused on doing original material. But then one of my producers out of the Solomon Islands kind of basically brought it to my attention. You know what I mean? And this is the sweet part. Yeah. So when he brought it to my attention, I'm like, you know what? Let me just listen to it and see if it really makes sense.
Yeah.
When I listened to it, it really kind of hit me in the sweet spot, and I was like, yo, there's so much room on this record and this idea and this beat for me to be myself and introduce myself into the record and see if I can, really make a reinterpretation that would embody David and embody my vibe and my flavor. You get me? And that's what I did with the record. I just basically took it into on production and I was able to do exactly that. So when you hear that record, right there and then that I'm not just singing over a song, I'm also adding to it, and making it my own. And I'm hoping that if and when the original authors and the original creators of the material hears it, I'm hoping that they will be very, very impressed by what I've done.
Wow. Well, I can definitely sit there and say that you definitely made the song your own, my brother. It's really a hot track. And honestly, I would not have known that that was a remake from Ace of Base. I mean, I did not see that one coming whatsoever. I know there's a lot of reggae covers, but I would never, I think that's probably the first I've heard of an Ace of Base cover. So salute, you definitely made that song all your own, DeVille.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Give thanks, man. Give thanks.
Now, I guess one of the little tidbits of information I didn't know about you, your interest and your involvement in the military. Talk to our
Ooh.
listeners a little bit about that. A lot of,
Yeah.
I thought that's really interesting from singer, but you also wanted to be in the military. So tell us a little bit about that, or your involvement in the military.
Yeah. So when I originally left high school in Jamaica, first of all, it's only one thing I ever really wanted to do, more than any other thing is music. That has always been my number one passion. You know, but I also wanted to serve. I think for the military uh, as well. And I never wanted to feel like I'm a one trick pony. I like to expand my my intellectual capacity and expand myself. You know, you only have
Yeah.
one life to live. So you have to do what you can to build yourself and to learn more and absorb more and understand the world and be able to maneuver in this thing we call the world movement. You feel me? I love to learn, and I just love to expand. And when I left high school, I had applied for the military in Jamaica, but I got the response very, 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 very late. By the time I got the response from them, it was like too late for me to basically get the material that they were asking me to get, which was a requirement for me to, be in the military in Jamaica. So I just let it go. But then when I came to America and I saw the opportunity again to serve, that was in the height of my career. At that time, I was a touring artist. I had one of the biggest song in reggae, and you know what I mean. But I still just felt the urge to really go and do it before it got too late, because there's always a cutoff point in terms of the age limit when it comes to that. So I joined. I joined the American Army, and I did my thing. I got my MOS 92 Foxtrot, Petroleum Supply Specialist. I mean, did the whole shebang and did my 9 years and retired from the Army, you know.
Oh,
And so when I retired from the Army, luckily when I did it, I did the reserve. So when I did the reserve, it allowed me to still tour, you know, um, while still doing the military stuff. So when I got back out the military, I was able to focus my 100% focus back into my passion, my number one passion, which is music.
wow. Wow. That's an incredible thing right there. Because I mean, who would have thought, reggae international recording artist, but also you wanted to join and serve the army, hey, and salute to you for that, my brother. Salute
Thank
once
you.
again.
Thank you.
Now, what role does faith play in your career? We know that you're a spiritually grounded brother. We hear it in your comments. What role has faith played in the role of DeVille?
Faith has been the biggest. Faith plays a essential role in my life. My relationship with God is very vital, and it's always been that way. It's just that I felt like when I was younger, I had that connection, that relationship, and then somewhere along the line, I kind of lost that. I kind of moved away from that. But eventually, I got the calling again. Where I figured I needed that based on the fact that when you're in a particular situation like I've been, and you travel the world like I've done, and done some of the stuff that I've done, you realize that you have the possibilities there for you to lose yourself, you know.
Mm.
And I felt like my faith was the one thing that could really, really pull me back and get me grounded and bring me back to reality and gave me something more potent to hold on to. You know what I mean? To help me to focus on the real things that I needed to focus on, you know. And so I had to get back into a relationship with God, and I had to get even closer than I've ever been with him. And it took a lot of work, and it's still taking a lot of work, because a lot of people think that once you are of the kingdom of God, and once you are saved, and once you're serving God, then everything becomes easier. No, it actually is a lot of hard work, you know, hard work to focus on that, because there's so much distraction in this world that can and that will pull you away from that, you know. But it's a task I'm up to. And just gotta do what I gotta do, because the master is the master. God is God. Man will always fail you, but God won't, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Now, I always like to ask my guests when I have them on the show, DeVille, who are some artists that you'd like to recommend for those who are watching right now? Who you name drop some artists that maybe that you're listening to right now, or it's on your playlist, or hey, if you haven't heard this artist, check them out. Who are a few artists that you'd like for us to check out? Maybe some artists that I can play that.
Lila, Lila Ike, and Hector Lewis. No, I love me some Common Kings. You know what I mean? Tribal Seeds. You know, yeah, man. I love me I love Skip Marley, Mosa. You know, he's a Marley too as well. I think he's the son of Stephen Marley. You know what I mean? Um, just to name a few. Um, there's this female singer. Her name is Lavi. She's actually my backup singer, but she got her own solo career going on, and she's amazing. You know, in her own right. You feel me? But just to name a few, there's also this gospel artist. His name is Winji Danger. He sings reggae, but in a gospel way, and he also does hip hop too and other genres as well. But these are the people I listen to as well. You know, DMP from out of the Solomon Islands. You know, that's another group that is really, you know, some people I listen to and I've worked with or would love to work with in the future. You feel me? I can't leave out everybody. I think I already know about the great Barry Sama, but I cannot leave him out because Barry has been a very influential figure in my life. You know, over the years, musically speaking, and I've always been there in some way, shape, or form, whether it's indirectly or directly, to kind of help steer my ship. You know what I mean? In terms of me and my music, yeah.
Yes. Yes. Well, yes. I mean, and of course, great artists that have doing great artists that are taking part in this interview. And of course, you work with folks like Sean Paul, Beanie Man, Marcia Griffiths, some of the legends of this music, dance hall. And of course, we know the legendary Marcia Griffiths. What's it like working with those individuals?
Honestly, that was a great experience for me. You know, it's a great feat, I'd say. Um, Especially for the fact that, especially when I did that song with Marcia Griffiths, I was still a young artist in terms of a solo artist trying to get a break in the music, you know, and she was already an established act globally. And so for her now to come and do a collaboration with me at that time, that was like something very special for me and something great for me too, because she didn't have to, you know what I mean? But she did it anyway, you know, and it kind of helped to establish me at that very young time in my solo career. And then now when I did get that, when I did get my couple of hit records, and then On My Mind came, and On My Mind was like a global song, you know, just for Sean Paul to do that song with me, that was another, you know, milestone for me as well, because he already had an international appeal, you know. I would kind of, I would like to think that we did a trade-off, because at that time he was on the international platform, but in Jamaica, his presence wasn't really there. But in Jamaica, my presence was dominant, you know. And so when we did the collaboration, it's like I brought back his presence in the local atmosphere, and then he brought me into the global presence. You know what I mean? By doing this collaboration with me. And then when I worked with Shaggy as well, that was another thing too. Shaggy is just one of those person that, you know, whenever I see him and whenever we come into contact, he just always love, you know what I mean? And that love and brotherly support exudes from the presence of him just being there with me. And I remember we co-wrote the song for a rhythm, the shantytone rhythm that he produced, and we were able to co-wrote that song together on his rhythm, and I voiced a record for him. And that was very, again, so a building block for me as well, because here I am working with the global stars, you know,
Yes.
and it did something for me, man. It really helped to build me up, you know. Yeah, man.
So let me ask you, what's coming up next? You've dropped 2 hot singles this year, Happy and Every Time It Rains. What's next for DeVille?
Well, there's so much more to be done, you know. The tour is already coming up, you know. My first stop is going to be in St. Martin. That's the island of St. Martin, in about 2 weeks from now. And then I'm going to be off to Keelan. Is it Keelan? No, Texas. I'm going to be off in Texas as well. Keelan, Texas, to headline the Reggae Ephraim Festival. And then after that, I'm going to be off to Geelong, Victoria in Australia to headline Reggae Fest in that area. And then I have a Canadian date coming up, and I have some other dates coming up. But apart from that, the album is coming out. We're looking to put the album out in September, you know, and we're just working, man. So much more in store, so much more to do, you know. I haven't won the Grammy yet, you know. I haven't gotten that. It's coming though. It's coming, you know, and some special features are in the pipeline. And I would like to take this time out as well to, you know, big up the team. You know, I have a team of people now working with me that have been tremendous in my corner. You know, Real Life Records. You know, Gary, Greg, and Virgo, and also, you know, Joanna. You feel me? And Joshua. You know, small team but very effective. You know, doing their part to help make this thing work. You dig?
Yes. Well, I want to thank the team also for making this interview possible, for getting my man DeVille, international reggae recording artist, big hits coming out 2022 for my man DeVille. And DeVille, before we wrap everything up, real quickly, could you tell everyone how to reach you on social media, your social media platforms?
Yeah, man, social media, of course, you know, straight across the board. Like my TikTok, IG, Facebook, and Twitter is the same handle. It's DeVille Music, on all of those platforms I just mentioned just now. And in terms of my website, DeVilleMusic.com. Everything you need, everything you want is right there, including my social media links and music links and tour dates and stuff like that. And also for booking is bookDeVilleMusic@gmail.com. Yeah.
True. Now, any last words you want to say out there to the fans?
Yeah, man, I want to say this. Big up to all the fans and all the supporters. You know, I mean, these 2 songs, these 2 records, Happy and Every Time It Rains, has been, you know, viral because of their support and because of their love, you know. And these songs are playing in over 100 and something stations around the world, you know, and we're very thankful for that. Don't forget to go check out the videos again on YouTube. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. You know, I didn't get here all by myself, you know. I got here because of people like you, Mr. Sims, and, you know, other people out there and the fans and the supporters that have been in my corner. And I hope that whenever I put out these new records, it will show and it will embody the growth, you know, and show the experience hasn't faltered along the way. The experience has given me knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to understand that whenever I put my next song out, I have to be doing the best I can to make sure I never shortchange my fans. Yeah.
All right. Well, once again, we want you all to check out DeVille on all of his social media platforms, IG, Facebook, Twitter. Of course, he's on all streaming platforms as well. And if you watch this on internationally, chances are he's going to be hitting your area or your country or your region fairly soon. So my brother, thank you so much for joining us on this special interview, Marcus Sims Media. Thank you so much, my man.
Give thanks, brother, man. And thanks again for this platform to connect with the fans and masses. Appreciate it. One love. God bless.
God bless. Thank you.